You're watching the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. It's the bye week for the Cowboys, and you don't need wholesale changes when you're 6-2. I think there are some tweaks, adjustments, etc. that the Cowboys can make to better maximize their chances of winning, well, you know what, this year. Now, if you want daily Cowboys videos, news, rumors, updates, etc. all season long, this is your one-stop shop. If you haven't already, subscribe. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV. Let's dive into the controversial one right off the top here. Tony Pollard versus Ezekiel Elliott. I want to preface this by saying this is not anti-Zeke, and I could give a shit about the money. It's not a factor right now. What this is about is how can I maximize Tony Pollard and how can I maximize Zeke to make my offense and my ground game as good as possible. You can and should and will continue to use both players, and if you want to give Zeke a bigger workload, ride the hot hand, I'm fine with that. But let's also be honest about where these players are at in their respective careers. Tony Pollard, at this moment, is a better football player on fewer carries and fewer snaps. Remember, Zeke did not play at all in Week 8. Pollard has more yards on the ground. And every time the Cowboys say, he can't take that much more of a workload, but they give him more, his efficiency's gone up every year. And I had said many times on the show, in general, more carries equals less efficiency. And here we are with Tony Pollard on pace to blow out his carry numbers and have career-high efficiency. The guy is on pace for a 1,000-yard season on 160 carries. Now, he's probably not going to get there because the explosive play rate will dip back to normal a little bit. But it's not like Pollard is only getting big runs. Here are some advanced numbers here, nerd alert. 8+ defenders in the box rate per next-gen stats. Tony Pollard faces 27.2%. Zeke's at under 20. It's not like teams are loading the box to stop Zeke anymore. Rushing yards over expected per attempt. This is basically a big play stat. Pollard leads the NFL. That's based on what's blocked and their player tracking data. 2.37 yards per carry. Pure big plays overall, by the way. Zeke's explosive rate on that's carries of 10+ yards or more, 12.5. Pollard's at 21.6. He's almost double that. 20+ yard carries, Zeke drops to 2.25. Tony Pollard, 8.54. That's among the best numbers in the entire NFL. EPA per play. It's nerd stuff to explain who makes the biggest individual impact on a given play. Pollard is among the best there among all backs. Both high success rates. And yes, Ezekiel Elliott is better as a pass protector. I don't think anyone really argues that. Some might argue it's closer. But if we're picking, Zeke has to be your lead back because his stamina's better, even though we haven't seen Pollard completely collapse on the field, and even when he gets tired, he busts off a 50-yard run. Are we really going to act like the 10% of plays that you pass protect is the number one reason why, that's why Zeke's got to be the lead back? That doesn't make any sense to me. Pollard's the better player. Now, if we're worried about him not being able to handle a 60% snap count, I get that. How about this? How about we move the split closer to Pollard? It's about 60-40 right now, somewhere in that area. How about we try 55-45? Do we think Pollard's going to never have an explosive play again? I don't think so. Let's get it closer and see where the actual number is. The Cowboys think it's 30 snaps per game. Okay, let's see if that's actually the case there. Who should get the lead amount of back? I'm talking 51%. You're still going to use both, don't get me wrong there. EE for Ezekiel Elliott, TP for Tony Pollard. It's a pinned comment today, so let me know in the comments who you want as the lead back, especially if that ad comes here on YouTube. My next bye week change isn't actually a change, but I'm going to cheat. Good Kellen Moore stays. And I want to give Kellen Moore a lot of praise for his game plan against the Chicago Bears. I thought he called a fantastic game. All the things that I have personally complained about, I know many of you have complained about as well, I thought they were there. The play action numbers have gone up. I think that's been your big takeaway from the Cooper Rush offense, air quotes, versus the Dak Prescott offense, air quotes, which different conversation. There has been more play action and more under center usage. And I think that has been a good thing. Dak has been destroying teams on play action. The pre-snap motion, especially in the red zone, has been there. They ran a couple great red zone plays or near red zone plays. The quarterback design keeper for Dak Prescott, elite design. The CeeDee Lamb in motion, and you run the vertical split route where Lamb on the inside kind of runs more of a skinny post. Great design there and off the motion there. The Cowboys have added what I call the easy button. They had those for Cooper Rush, like make your offense easy. Don't do the double trick reverse pass play and then lose 8 yards. Now you're in third and forever. The creativity, some of it forced, has been there. The Cowboys ran 6 reps of 3 personnel, 0 backs, 3 tight ends on that one drive against the Bears. They marched down the field, 83% success rate based on those 6 play calls, scored a touchdown, right? That personnel package by the entire NFL last year, every single game combined, 13 times. That's good creativity and not we ran the double reverse and our tight end did a pirouette in the middle of the field. Like, not that stuff. Those things we saw against the Bears. They ran tempo at the right times. Everything was clicking. So when Zeke comes back and he's healthy, and I think some of that creativity was a forced creativity because they didn't have Zeke out there and they couldn't fall back to their run the football up the middle stuff, which you can still mix in, but not on every first down or second and 10. Keep that. We've seen this creativity before, normally early in seasons. Then the Cowboys kind of regress back to just inside run. I've seen the flashes. I need the consistency to stay for Kellen Moore, and I hope that continues. So what is your confidence level then in Kellen Moore? Scale this for me from 1 to 10 in the comments. It's been here before. We've seen good Kellen Moore. I have to see it stay before I get myself excited. And not even just like in November. I got to see it in December. I got to see it in January. Don't go back to and it's my fear of the calls coming from inside the house of, gotta establish the run. You didn't establish it against Chicago. You ran it, but you threw it plenty on early downs too. That offense, with, of course, adjustments and whatnot, got to stay. The Cowboys, you're not going to drop 49 every game. You score 29 or close to it, you're going to be dangerous this year. Today's show is made possible by Established Titles. If you don't know what that is, allow me to explain. It's a fun and unique way to get yourself the Lord or Lady title. You get a square foot of land with a unique plot number out on a private estate in Scotland. You got the official certificate as well. I'll show you mine here in a minute. It's based on the old Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lords or ladies, and it helps preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland and helping global reforestation efforts. Every order, they plant a tree with the help of their charities, One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future. You can add the Lord or Lady title to your plane ticket if you want to get bumped up potentially to your dating profile if you're not having the most success there. They're also giving you 10% off when you use promo code CHAT over at establishedtitles.com/chat. Here's my certificate. It's now Lord Tom Downey, and my wife doesn't always like it when I make her call me that, but it's funny. Perfect, unique, last-minute holiday gift. My in-laws, I know, are going to love it when I get them theirs. 10% off, establishedtitles.com/chat. Don't forget to use promo code CHAT. I had some nice praise for Kellen Moore. This has been the area I've been disappointed by. Figure out a way to use Kavontae Turpin more on offense. We know how dynamic he is on special teams, but Turpin has been basically a non-factor on offense this year, despite the immense speed that he brings. 2 snaps in week 1 on offense, 5, 8, 5, 3, 2, 6, 6. He is what I call a package player. It's another way to say gadget player, where they got a package or 2 for him. He's in part of that role. He has 0 catches this year. 3 carries, 17 yards, had a decent big play against the Bears. Turpin is not an every down player. I fully am aware of that. He's small, he's tiny, he's really slender by every NFL standard. They're talking about a massive gap to him and even Tyreek Hill. He's not a full-time receiver, but I know you can get package plays for him. How about this? How about you run a screen or a jet touch pass one time to Kavontae Turpin? One time. Get him the ball in space. They've actually run the ball a lot with Turpin out there, kind of using him as some misdirection stuff. I am sure the Cowboys can find a way to do a screen with Turpin. Hell, how about you put him in the backfield and do a running back screen or a receiver tunnel screen? Like, get him the ball in space. He's so electric. Just add that package to the play. make him a potential threat in the receiving, which he's not right now. He's not a threat. I think you find a way to make it work without totally destroying your offense, special teams, or whatever. If you agree with me and you want just a little bit more of Kavontae Turpin, type me in the comments section right now. I have very few complaints about your defense or ideas to fix your run defense. It's your edges set in that spot better and not getting outside as much. I wouldn't mind seeing Damone Clark and or Jabril Cox get a shot, though. Anthony Barr, I don't think has been that great so far this season. I think Leighton Vander Esch has very much outplayed him, and LVE, to the surprise of I think nobody, very much plays better when he's kept clean, but the numbers are very much in favor of LVE in terms of production. I want to keep Micah as a pass rusher as much as possible. Let's give the young guys at LSU a shot here. Damone Clark was pressed into duty when they were not prepared for that, and I wonder if you're giving Damone Clark a lot of breathers. The Cowboys love their GPS numbers. I don't think they're ready for 30-plus snaps for Clark, but they had Luke Gifford as the other active linebacker, right? Clark is a better run stopper than Jabril Cox is. Cox is better in pass coverage, not your big area of concern, but I want to see a chance for these guys. So we have already seen Damone Clark. I was decently impressed there. Not spectacular, but tough spot. Held up okay there. Let's bring it back. Cox out in the comments section. I just want to see it. That sounds really dirty, but I'm also right. Hashtag Cox out in the comments section. This one's probably not a bye week change, but it is a future change. Go get me another wide receiver. And there are a couple names I think make sense, one of which you see on screen. Noah Brown's a bit banged up. I think he'll be okay moving forward. CeeDee Lamb is playing at a 1,000-yard pace, even though he's not quite the dominant receiver one. He'll have a 100-yard game soon. I'm not too worried about that. Gallup is kind of coming along slowly from that perspective. Not quite back to full speed, but Jalen Tolbert's been a disappointment. The Cowboys sold us, or tried to sell us. I never bought it. And I know many of you didn't either. Jalen Tolbert, James Washington, we're fine at receiver. They kept saying we're fine. Knock on wood. God forbid CeeDee Lamb gets hurt. We are panicking about that wide receiver room. So if you can get a good player at receiver, why wouldn't you do that? Especially if they're affordable. And I wonder if Odell Beckham is going to be a real possibility in maybe a month or so. He's not healthy yet. He's behind on that. Keep that in mind. That's why there isn't much hype around him beyond his own tours right now. He wanted a big deal. I'm not breaking the bank for another torn ACL guy who's not going to be good to go for a month. But if we get to December-ish, late November, OBJ's out there and you need receiver help still, I'm all for it. I'll also briefly mention Brandin Cooks here since you tried hard to acquire him, couldn't close the deal. Remember, if you're not close on the money, you're not close on the draft compensation either, just so we know that one. I would be shocked if Brandin Cooks got cut. That just doesn't seem very realistic to me. The Texans would eat so much money. He'd have to go through waivers, and you probably don't win him on a claim. So don't get your hopes up for Cooks. Odell Beckham is the one you should consider.